6:12 right now. About 1 million people have saved more than $500 every month, not bad, on their home mortgage payment thanks to the government's mortgage modification program. Now the program has been extended and expanded, so folks who have not been able to benefit will be able to do so. And here today with everything you need to know is Fox 29's common sense lawyer, Shari Olefson. Hi, Shari. Good to see you again.
Good morning, John. How are you?
Pretty good. The modification program has been very popular, so explain what it is and exactly how it works.
Sure. Well, this actually is really good news. We all remember back in 2008 when we had the Emergency Economic Financial Stabilization Act with all the problems, everything
That's
tanked
where
on
it
Wall
all
Street.
started.
Right. Well, the Home Affordable Modification Program, which is what we're talking about, actually began there because that act originally gave the Treasury the authority to preserve housing and save home ownership. So eventually, back in 2009, 2010, this program was passed. But remember, it came out with all those problems, John. Remember, paperwork was being lost and folks couldn't get banks to respond.
Right.
Well, now, finally, those kinks have been worked out. The bugs are gone. And the program's been extended to 2015 so people can really try to take advantage.
Yeah, a lot of banks and lenders got in some kind of trouble over that to begin with.
Big time, yeah.
All right, so who is eligible to get a HAMP modification now?
Sure. Well, what folks need to know, there's basically two categories that you need to think about. The first is the type of loan you have. So if you got your loan before January of 2009, it's a first mortgage. You're involved with Fannie or Freddie, so they either own your loan or guarantee it, and the loan amount is $729,750 or less, then you have the type of loan that this applies to. The other criteria for eligibility, John, depends on how much your loan is and how much money you make. So the goal of this program is to get your loan to be about 30% of what your income is. We've talked about that before. Your housing shouldn't cost more than 30%. That's the whole point of this modification program. So as long as you have the income, if you're unemployed, this is not going to work for you. As long as you have the income and you didn't buy too much house, it's possible to get your loan down to that. This program's for you. If you're already making so much money that your loan really isn't a big deal, it's much less than 30%, it's also not for you. So it's everyone else who could get their loan down to that important 30% number.
All right, but it still basically hinges on Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae.
That's for these types of loans.
Okay.
FHA has their own program, and banks have other programs if your loan is not Fannie or Freddie.
For folks who apply, what can they expect? How does the modification process work?
Easy. We can cover that real quick. The first is whether or not you're going to get your modification approved. And for that, they use what's called a net present value test, or NPV. And they're going to look at whether the bank and investors are going to recover more by modifying your loan or foreclosing. The second, if you are approved, they're going to use what's called a waterfall approach to give you the type of modification you're going to get. So first, they're going to try to reduce your interest rate. Then they'll look at increasing the amount of time you have to pay back the loan. And then if they have to, they'll reduce the principal. And you can go to MHA.gov for more information.
All right. All the big banks are taking part in this?
Time to jump, and they've made tweaks, so now it doesn't have to be your primary resident. If you've defaulted on a modification before, you can still qualify, so it's time to look at it again.
All right. Good to know. Shari O, as always, thank you.
You're
We'll see you
welcome.
next time around. Let's go back over